They keep winning, so we keep talking about them. The Ragin Cajuns are streaking. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Hopefully everybody had a fun holiday weekend. I didn't realize, hold on, we'll do that in a second. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. I didn't realize that the Ten Commandments broadcast coincides with Easter. As a nice Jewish boy, I thought it coincided with Passover. The thing is, usually those two things are at the same time. Easter was yesterday. Passover's not for like another 3 weeks. It's a little crazy. Anyway, the point is, I always fall asleep before the Red Sea parts. Always falls asleep. Always passed out. And I did it again last night. Or on Saturday night. All right. So we'll get to the Cajuns sweeping the Bobcats. First ever time in San Marcos. I didn't think that was going to be a thing. Georgia State is off to a great start. And we talked about in Friday's episode, JMU searching coach. They found their coach, Preston Spradlin from Morehead State. So we'll get to all of that. We'll recap the entire Sunbelt weekend in baseball, and it starts with the high-flying Ragin Cajuns, if you will. They probably got away with one on Saturday, falling behind a couple of times, not having the best pitching. It did come down to a battle of bullpens. It was a 2-2 ball game, and Texas State took a 4-2 lead. The problem was kind of like missing free throws. Texas State had chances to blow the game open. They were really good with 2 outs, but they left the bases loaded at least a couple of times, and they ended up leaving 12 men on base, including the tying and going-ahead run in the 9th. So that's where that game was different. The Cajuns were behind. They could have tacked on a run in the 9th inning to make it a 4-run game. They didn't, and they hung on for that 7-6 victory. We did learn some things. Okay, so the Cajuns are not quite as deep pitching-wise as we would like to believe, right? Carson Fluno could not pitch, and they went with Blake Marshall, who was really good during the week against Grambling, but not that great, not being able to get 6 outs on Saturday against Texas State. We also probably found out a little bit about LP Langevin or Langevin, however you want to pronounce it. He was unbelievable on Thursday night. I mean, again, him and Herman are a outstanding 1-2 punch. The thing is, you got to get, if you want to pitch Langevin twice on the weekends, you got to have Herman go 7 innings. I think we learned that. Langevin was a completely different pitcher. Texas State had no chance against him on Thursday, and he got away with one on Saturday, having a couple of runners on, entering in a 3-run lead and almost giving it away. So, trust the process type of deal. You're learning things about your players that he needs more than 1 day rest if he's going more than 2 innings. If he can go 2 innings, maybe he can come back, or maybe he can't. So, all right. It's not about only getting the job done, but it's, he could have gotten the job done, but what if he gives up like 3 deep fly balls and he retires a side in order? Again, it's about where his pitches are and how he's attacking the zone, and he fell way behind on a lot of the batters. And Texas State did a good job. Again, they had no shot in the first game and did a good job in the second game. Cajuns did a great job, I think, with Dalen Pena. I think he only had 1 RBI. He did not have the best of all series against the Cajuns. Here's the thing against the Cajuns that keeps on, unfortunately, coming up. And I love this website, warrennolan.com. So I refer to this as the RPI. I don't know what the NCAA is, but the Cajuns, at the recording of this, before I started recording, they were 51. Now they're 50 RPI. All right, so they've gone up 11 between the 2 weeks. Okay. They also have predicted results. All right. Now, this has also changed, all right? When I checked it a couple of hours ago, they were like 39-17. Now he's got it 42-14, right? And he's not changing things on a regular basis. It's just based on who wins and who loses. He does, by the way, have them. Let's see if we go through this. He's got him on a ridiculous winning streak, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He has them going on a 24-game winning streak. He does not have the Cajuns losing, predicted, until the Sunday ball game at Coastal Carolina. All right. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's a fun thing to watch. The thing about this is that it changes on a regular basis. Okay. So if you go to, again, the predicted results, and it's 42-14, this is what it was Sunday evening at 5:20 Central Time. Okay. What it turns out to be Monday when you're watching this is a different story. Their RPI is 28 at that point in time. A couple hours ago, it was 39-17, and their RPI was like 56. Their RPI is 50 now, and it actually was for 51-52 when I looked at it, and it was going up to 56. They still have, as ridiculous as this sounds, and I'm not being a ne'er-dweller or I told you so type of deal, but their schedule does not bode too well for them. All right. We mentioned this at the beginning of the year. They have to win 40 to 45 ball games to guarantee themselves, an at-large berth and not to have to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Now, they may do both, right? They may go 42-14 and win the Sun Belt Conference tournament. All of a sudden, they're, got 45 wins, and maybe they're getting a regional. All right. Still, you just don't want to go into that last week needing to do what they did last year, kind of a Blake Marshall miracle, if you will. But the hitting is still there. Getting a lot of help from Jose Torres and Josh Alexander and Kyle DeBarge has cooled off a little bit, but John Taylor coming through. Even Caleb Stelly, though, he hits is that a useless home run? Up 13-5 in the 9th inning. He hits a 3-run bomb to the opposite field. So maybe he's starting to come around. We all are also seeing Matt Deggs pinch hit right-left matchups a little bit more than we did. Zambo's getting more of a chance. We did see Trey LaFleur come in there. He still may not be right. So we're seeing more use of the bench. And again, we'll get back to the pitching. They need some guys to step up. We'll see. Fluno will have 2 weeks off, although if he's going to pitch this week, coming up, he'll have to pitch on the side somewhere along the way. But he'll have at least a week off. We'll find more about that on Monday, what that prognosis is, because otherwise you're gonna go through a lot of pitchers if he can't go. We'll find out more about Murphy Brooks. He didn't pitch this week, I don't think. What did he? Let me see. Now I confuse myself. I don't really want to do this. Get caught up in the minutia, but it bothers me when I'm wrong. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't know who pitched. Forget it. All right. Anyways, so does Murphy Brooks pitch. Jack Martinez, maybe he gets back into the rotation. He pitched well earlier on in the week. Did not pitch particularly well over the weekend. So we'll see. But, I mean, they have Chase Morgan, and they have Andrew Herman and LP Langevin. Holtzhammer actually pitched well, too. Maybe he could have gone next inning. We'll see. All right, we'll get back to the rest of the Sun Belt. Georgia State off to a tremendous start. They take down James Madison in their series. I will tell you about that right after I tell you about Gametime. Gametime is now the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying major league tickets. With flash deals, save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Save even more when you choose a section and let Gametime choose the seats. Lowest price guarantee. Gametime will credit you with 110% of the difference if you find somebody else who has a lower price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKED on college, ONCOLLEGE, Locked On College for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, let's check out the rest of the Sunbelt. About Georgia State kind of pulling, would it be like an Arkansas State in basketball where they got off to a really poor start? They got off to a really poor start before conference play, trying to figure out who they are, and all of a sudden, they're playing pretty well. They're 7-2. I mean, that's off to a tremendous start, right? They swept South Alabama, took 2 out of 3 from ULM, and 2 out of 3 from JMU. And JMU, I mean, they had a top 20 RPI. What are they now? After losing to Georgia State, James Madison's fallen to not that bad, 32. Not that bad at all. Let's see where Georgia State is. Georgia State's 53. I mean, you do have Southern Miss 49. The Cajuns are 50. Georgia Southern 52, and Georgia State 53. South Alabama is 56. Nice. All right, so Georgia State off to a tremendous start in the Sun Belt. Cajuns are 8-1. Georgia State takes 2 out of 3 from JMU. The Sun Belt has the wrong numbers for Coastal Carolina. I'm not sure how this happens. Do you have to put in you have to enter a score? Is it uploaded? Not sure how it happens. But they don't have ULM's win over Coastal Carolina on Thursday. They beat them 11-3, and for some reason, they have Coastal Carolina beating ULM 4-1 and then 9-0 twice. So something's wrong. Something's a little kooky in the Sunbelt website. So Coastal Carolina is actually 5-4. They did take 2 out of 3 from ULM, but they are 5-4. So Southern Miss, I'm going to take the standings verbatim here. They are 6-3. I think they took the series with Troy. They are 6-3, and Coastal Carolina is 5-4. They're tied with App, and they're tied with Georgia Southern. It has Coastal winning 4 in a row, and they have not. They've won 2 in a row, but they are not. They're 5-4. Troy is 4-5. ODU 4-5. Texas State 4-5. James Madison, they've kind of done the opposite. They got off to a great start and have not played well. Same with South Alabama, but they were at ODU. They did a good job to salvage the final game of that series. They're 3-6. Arkansas State 3-6. Marshall 3-6. ULM 2-7. So it'll be really interesting. So I got to believe, okay, the Cajuns being good is not a surprise, right? They're probably better than many of us thought, although we were told they were good. It's usually never the case. Coastal Carolina is supposed to be good. Southern Miss is supposed to be good. I got to believe Texas State and Troy were supposed to be good. A lot of people like Georgia Southern. Maybe they were off to a rough start, maybe turning things around a little bit. But Georgia State certainly, at least in conference, is your surprise team. They're 15-12 overall, 7-2 in the conference. So they were 8-10 heading into the conference play, and now they're 15-2. Cajuns, by the way, were 9-8 heading into the conference, and now they're 20. I'm sorry, they were 9-7. They were 9-7 heading into the conference, and I'm wrong on that. Try that again. Okay. They were 12-7 heading into the conference. Now they're 20-8. I'm mixing up the winning streak and what they're in conference. They were 9-8. The Cajuns were or 9. They were 9-8, and they've won 11 in a row. So that's where I was confusing myself. So they're 8-1. Georgia State 7-2, and Coastal again is 5-4. We'll see if their pitching comes around. Their offense is just really impressive. I will go back to the Cajuns here. The Cajuns all of a sudden have a long homestand. Matt Diggs specifically said that they scheduled SEC-wise, and if you look some of these SEC teams like LSU and Tennessee, I look specifically, they haven't played a whole lot of road games. Like Vanderbilt have not played a lot of road games. The Cajuns find themselves at home up until they have a home and road series with Southeastern. So, I mean, they get Nichols, ULM, that's 4, Prairie View, La Tech, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, I mean, they play 10 of their next 11 at home, and the other one is a couple-hour bus ride down the road. Those will be big. All right. Again, the Cajuns' schedule is set up for them to win a lot of these games. You can't be losing to Prairie View A&M. All right. Nobody wants to hear, well, they were using their weekend guys against us in this midweek game. Don't want to hear it. You can't be losing to Nichols, right? Some of these games, Jackson State, Houston Christian, although Houston Christian just took a pair. They took a pair from somebody in the conference. Is it Troy? Who knows? Houston Christian just took a pair from somebody. We can look here quickly because these RPIs are brutal. And you're just going to put more emphasis on. Oh, Houston Christian took 2 out of 3 from Southeastern. Sorry. I saw that because I was looking at the Southeastern stuff. So Houston Christian took 2 out of 3 from Southeastern. Again, you can't be losing those ball games. Texas State, by the way, has A&M coming into their place. That's great. Then they play Marshall, and then they play Texas. So we'll see if those games actually help the Cajuns RPI because of, your opponent's opponent type of deal. We'll see. Also, I believe in Moore Nolan, the conferences were like the Sun Belt was number 4. Oh, so now it's back up to number 5. All right. College baseball ELU, number 5. All right. And again, I will also mention this. As much as I love it, it does change on a absolute regular basis. It changed multiple times where I told you it was 42 and 14 for the Cajuns predictive wise. Yesterday it was 45 and 11. I'm like, you're really only predicting them to lose 3 more times for the rest of the season? That's not likely. And yet you think they're going to lose to Nichols? Crazy. And then before I did this, it was 39 and 17, and now it's 42 and 14. So it changes and updates itself on a regular basis. But it is fun to look at. All right. We'll talk more about this on the Schultz cast on Monday. And on a side note, sorry to step in on Chris Gordy's toes here, but LSU has all of a sudden lost their first series, just got swept by Arkansas. I know the schedule does absolutely get a bunch easier in the second half, but they got Vandy coming up at the box and Tennessee and Knoxville. Are they going to win one of those series? Here's the difference between the Cajuns and LSU. LSU's RPI is never going to be bad enough for them not to get in the tournament. But are they going to give LSU, the defending national champions, with 35 or 36 wins in at-large berth because their schedule is so tough, but they don't have any wins? Now, again, it gets much easier. You're playing Ole Miss. You're playing Auburn. You're playing Missouri. You do have to go to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. They're top 25. So, but it's definitely much easier than at Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, Tennessee and Vandy. I mean, that is a gauntlet of a thing. Comparably so, the Cajuns are hosting Marshall and ULM, and baseball is not meant for this, but you can't really lose one of those games either. Those will crush your RPI. You want to see a sinking RPI, lose one of those ball games. So they're already on an 11-game winning streak. They've gone up from, well, they had a loss in there, but they've gone from 236 to 50, which is really impressive. But they need to win like another 11 straight just to have a shot at an at-large berth, which is crazy. But that's the way they scheduled. All right. So they knew going into this, they had to win 40 to 45 ball games to try and get themselves an at-large berth. And we'll see the other ones, right? Right now, Coastal Carolina and JMU are the only ones with at-large berth RPIs. But, Georgia's JMU is 32. Where is Coastal is 18. Oh, they did come away with 2 out of 3. And they actually went up 5. So that's nice to see because they took 2 out of 3 from ULM. So maybe it won't hurt the Cajuns. Maybe it won't hurt them. They had their game canceled against Clemson, which is disappointing for them and the Sun Belt for that fact of the matter. All right, let's take another timeout. When we come back, the JMU Dukes hired their new head basketball coach from Morehead State. We will do that right after this. I will tell you about Fire TV and Lafayette Travel. Just double checking. Yes. Okay. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV Stick, which you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channel lets you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports, March Madness, NBA, Major League Baseball, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/lockedonafire. And Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage. Explore magnificent trails that lead you through our rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps, where you can paddle past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for our rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/seasoned. I probably should mention Festival International coming up at the end of April. And that's a free music festival, sort of like a street fair. It's a lot of fun. It's absolutely worth your while to check it out. All right. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. James Madison gets their guy, Preston Spradlin. I think that's how you say it, out of Morehead State. I will say, and I'm recording this as Duke and NC State are playing, and it's a 1-point game. Duke is not playing nearly as well. I mean, maybe does NC State have anything to do with it? I mean, Duke is shooting 32%. Duke could not miss against JMU. I don't. That's the point. All right. One day you're on fire and the next day you're not. The obvious difference is NC State's used to playing Duke, right? This is not, they played them. This is the 3rd time this month and probably 4th time this season. But Duke is not playing nearly as well against NC State as they did against JMU. Having said that, JMU, I think they got a good coach, and I'm going to give credit to Jeff Bourne. We probably brought this up on Friday. And as soon as I published it, I did do it early morning Friday. I think I wasn't feeling well. I was sick Thursday and Friday. So we did the episode first thing Friday morning. But then it came out that they got their guy. So, again, how this goes down, I don't know. But I'm going to guess Mark Byington, either Sunday evening or first thing Monday morning, told JMU, hey, I'm out. We also know about the rumors that had him going to West Virginia that were quashed during the JMU Duke game. They hired somebody else. Nonetheless, when that happens, Jeff Bourne's got to be ready, and it appears that he was, right? He already had his ducks in a row on where he was going to go, because even say it was Sunday night, right? You're not really doing anything Sunday night other than maybe calling your consultant, in which they used. So by Monday morning, who do we got? Who do we want to do background checks on? How much is this going to cost? And, who can we get in for how much? And so we didn't find out until Friday, but they probably had a deal on Thursday, right? I don't think they agreed to the deal Friday morning and then it was found out, right? Maybe the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed Friday morning, but I mean, he was signing a contract on Friday. And so we saw, and what we see is different. I think Jeff Bourne had this done almost in 72 hours, right? If you want to go Monday, maybe a little bit more, maybe Thursday, right? 3.5 days. It's a good job by Jeff Bourne at JMU. Let's see here. Spradlin was the head coach at Morehead State for 8 seasons, building the Eagles into one of the most consistent mid-major programs over the past few years. In his last 4 seasons at the helm, Morehead State won 2 Ohio Valley regular season championships, went to 2 NCAA tournaments, won 94 total games, and went 58-16 in conference play. Pretty good. This season's 26 wins, set a program record for wins in a season. All right. Prior to taking over at Morehead State, Spradlin was an assistant under Sean Wirtz for 2 seasons and began his coaching career as a graduate assistant under John Calipari at Kentucky from 2009 to 2011. So it feels like Jeff Bourne had a direction. It doesn't appear like he was caught off guard, despite how fast it appeared it worked for Byington to go to Vanderbilt. Feels like there was some communication all over the place. And when by the time we found out, so it would have been Monday between 12 and 12:30 Central Time. So before 1:30 Monday, right, they already knew. So I would not think that Jeff Bourne is finding out from Pete Thamel's report that his head basketball coach just took the job at Vandy. All right. Sometimes those things happen that way, but I would kind of doubt it in this case, right? I'm not sure, So like FAU, right? They were ready to go. Dustin May got hired and they had their guy like the next day. Or 2 days later, they were prepared, because knowing they were prepared before it happened last year. Of course, you got to be prepared. Didn't quite go on the run this year that they went on last year, but you got to get the ball rolling. Louisville, I don't think, was prepared. I think Louisville got a really good coach from Pat Kelsey. I didn't know anything about him, be the first to admit that, but I think they got just as good as coach. All right. They wanted Scott Drew. Scott was not leaving Baylor, which we discussed. They wanted Dustin May, who decided I can hide behind Michigan's football team. All right. And Pat Kelsey this is the gig that he wanted, right? And he made a joke, I was my wife's third choice. If you don't think I can recruit, check out my wife. That's a used joke all the time. But a little self-deprecating humor is nice. He seems to be a little bit intense, which is okay, right? But I think they got their right guy. I did not see the Preston Spradlin anything yet. I know they announced it. I'm not sure if I've seen the press conference, if they've had one. We're going to try and get him on the show. We still got to get Mike Jones on the show, Cornelius Jackson on the show. And we need to hit up some college football coaches as well as baseball coaches is what we need to get these guys on. You got to get them during the week and when they're at home, right? They do not have a whole lot of time, although maybe they have time during the day before a game, right? Unfortunately, my time is open. So, we can do this on their way to the office or right, I'm not getting them during batting practice, like before a baseball game, right? Hopefully we can do that. All right. Thanks very much. I haven't even seen the count. Again, I've been a little bit down for the count because I've been just a little bit sick, but let's see where we are subscription wise. It had gone up and down for a little bit. Let me see here. The dashboard is where we are. We got 1174. I was hoping for 1200. We're not that far. Actually hoping for 1300, but we're not that far. We need 25 more, 26 more to get to 1200. Please let people know. We're trying to do a little bit better job again of the shorts and all the videos. And again, please subscribe. Again, if you're here in the Lafayette or a Cajuns fan area, I do have the Schultze-cast as well. So you can look up that on YouTube as well. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please share and like when you see it. It is a big help. Have a great week, everybody. And we will be back again on Tuesday with another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day,